Ladies and gentlemen, ghouls and goblins of all ages, Jacob's Living Room is proud to present the 1 year special, celebrating 1 year of creating YouTube content for all you little people out there. Don't worry, we haven't forgotten about you. Oh, we've got thrills and chills and some boring stuff and filler, and you may want to bring some snacks. It might not be that great, but now it's the time you've all been waiting for. Here she is, the most beautiful woman in the world, and your host for the evening, Jacob Yavello. Are you clapping? You should be clapping. Cheers to you, best friends. Welcome back. Almost a year ago, exactly, I started this Chanel, that's how the French say channel, little education for you. I did it really just as a hobby, just to excite myself, to see if I could. Look what's happened. I'm one of the biggest people out there. It's like, I just want to walk down the street, I just want to be a regular person, but I can't because everyone is just constantly wanting me to pay attention to them and sign autographs and crash their cars and kill their families. It's not important, really, and you can't prove that in court. Anyways, I thought, what better way to celebrate 1 year on YouTube than with a special? All the greats have them. Me, other people, I assume. So tonight, I thought, for a special, why not get to know the world's most fascinating subject? Me. Through this evening of delights and thrills, you're gonna get to know me a little better. It occurred to me that most of my videos are about topics that either only I care about or nobody, not even myself, care about. So why not do a normal YouTuber thing and do a Q&A video? So that's what it is. I tricked you. Hello, hi. I tricked you. You're watching a Q&A video. But it's really fancy. And if life has taught me anything, its style is all that matters over substance. Who cares that my channel isn't consistent? The content doesn't come out regularly. You don't know what you're going to get. I'm shrill, I'm unlikable, and other things agents have said when I call them in the middle of the night. It doesn't matter because look at me now. When I first did this, people said I would never make it. They said, we're gonna tell you, you're not gonna make it. That's what they said. I said to them,
I can do anything.
I am an eagle spreading its wings, learning how to walk. I'll swim the deepest oceans if I have to. I'm mixing a lot of metaphors here, might be a little drunk. All I know is that this special's gonna just rip you apart. That's a thing people like. Oh, I'm really drunk. Our evening's festivities include getting to know me through answering user questions. That's right, audience participation, and some performances from special guests such as me and also me, but I'll be in different outfits, so it's groundbreaking. You're welcome. As someone with exactly 40 subscribers and going down, I think I know a little thing or two about being famous. If there's one thing I can tell you about fame, and you know they say fame changes people, it goes to their heads, it hasn't gone to my head at all. I'm acting completely normal. It's honestly difficult because when you become as successful as I've become, and everyone knows about your channel, and everyone's asking you, oh, Jacob, make the funny joke you do on your channel show. Sometimes I'm just not feeling it. I don't know. I guess everyone has their burdens to bear. All I know is that it's a new year, new me, better me, improved me. I'm better than I've ever been. I'm better than you'll ever be. With introductions out of the way, and now that we know what we're here for, to get to know me a little better, nothing opens a show like a fun number. And what do people like? Well, I'm a terrible judge of what people like, which explains my channel. But people like sex, right? I can do that. I can do sexy. I can do whatever I wish. So coming up first, we have a sexy, old-timey burlesque number I've pulled from the vault of a few days ago when I filmed it. But it's gonna look old, and if there's one thing I know, it's how to look old. Take it away, me in a different outfit. Oh my god, there I am, I'm right there. And now, performing Buried Beds 1,000 Acres, here's Jacob Iavello. Wow, folks. What a show, what a delight, what a treat. And I would know because I was definitely paying attention and not backstage, getting a little more tipsy. Because I don't do that. I don't even drink. Who put this in my hand? I distinctly remember telling all of you PAs that I didn't want any more alcohol. Well, no, don't come over here now because I've already got it. I've already got it, so I've already got it. I'm gonna have to drink it now. I'm sorry, everyone. This is so embarrassing. Live shows are so difficult. What do you mean it's not live, Kevin? I told you I wanted it live. Well, what do you mean it's not in the budget? Okay, I'm not gonna fight with you when we have guests. I'm doing a whole like comedy special. There's numbers, there's Q&As. I'm not gonna cry today. I'm not that girl anymore. I'm sorry, everybody. Up next we have the man of the hour, the man of the evening. You know him, you love him, I love him. It's me, I'm a narcissist. He's gonna answer some of your viewer questions. I hope you find it as entertaining as I do, because I love listening to me talk. Oh wow, what a fun time we're going to have with each other tonight. Or in the morning, or whenever you're watching this. Probably on the toilet. You're welcome. So I've had my channel now for a year. I don't really push it, like I don't advertise it, because I guess it is just a hobby. It's just kind of like a passion thing. I wanted to do it, so I did it. I wanted to see if I could, and I can. I mean, to the best of my ability. But now that I've done it for a year, I just kind of feel like I'm gonna do something big. Well, I am doing something big. And I know that most YouTubers, when they hit a subscriber milestone, which is not happening for me anytime soon since I'm so bad at advertising myself, or a time milestone, they usually do a Q&A video. And of course, me being extra, I thought I'll do a Q&A, but I'm gonna do it big as you've ever seen. So I got some questions sent to me and I'm gonna answer them for you all. Hopefully you can get to know me. I really, just before I get to any of the questions, want to say like thank you to anyone that's watched this, even if you're just my friends or the 6 people that I don't know that might happen to watch my videos. I really do appreciate it. It is important to me. I do put a lot of work into these videos, for me anyways, for the limited time that I do have and the limited motivation that I do have. I've done my best, and I would really like if more people could see my stuff. So if you could share it, if you could subscribe, if you could like, it really does help. If you could comment, all of that stuff makes me feel so good. It makes me want to make more videos. Not that I won't make them without it. No one could be watching, and I'll still make this kind of stuff because it's fun for me. I wanted to answer some questions that people might have because, hey, my videos don't really answer any questions about me as a person. They're a lot of just random opinions. I've got my questions here, so let's get some of these answered. When I first sent out for questions, some of the ones I got back from my closer friends were very interesting. They were more questions about themselves than of me, asking things like, what do you think of me? Do you think we have a genuine friendship? Which I'm not going to put in a Q&A because it's so specific to that person. I just thought it was interesting that when I ask someone, hey, if you could ask me any question, what would you ask me? Their first thought is of themselves, which, relatable content. In one case, a friend thought I was going to kill myself and called me immediately and was like, why are you asking me to ask you a question? Like, they were absolutely panicked and paranoid, which I found extremely endearing. Like, oh, you care if I die. Oh my goodness. Warms my icy little heart. But I did get some actual questions, quite a few, more than enough to answer, that aren't specific, that might help you get to know me. Maybe you'll decide to subscribe and see what else I put out. Don't worry, it will continue to be completely random, with absolutely no rhyme or reason. You're welcome. I've tried not to look at these questions too much because I don't want to pre-answer them in my own head, so I'm getting them fresh with you guys, live on air. All right, an interesting first question. What's something you hate about a hobby that you love? I love video games. I don't think that's a secret to anyone that knows me, but I do hate the culture around video games, and I'm not talking about like fandoms. Like, that's whatever. I'm already not even a part of that. The online culture of video games and, like, the hype culture of video games and the territorial nature, like, I just play games I think are fun, and it kind of sucks the fun out of it when I have people that are overly focused on this genre or that genre or this creator or this studio. That kind of stuff just doesn't matter to me, so I guess I wouldn't say I hate it. It's just something I don't engage in. I love playing video games. I don't love talking about playing video games. I would say that. The fan culture. Another question I got, which, thank you, by the way, is does a straw have 1 hole or 2? Okay. I'm really going to think about this. I'm going to say 1 hole. I'm going to stand by that answer. And if you disagree, unsubscribe. First subscribe, though, but then unsubscribe. All right, I got a good one. What is your response to people who believe in conspiracy theories? How should we approach them? I love people that believe in conspiracy theories. I find it charming. Like, obviously it's dangerous and there's, you get into problem areas and like at a certain limit and a certain line, it's not funny. But it's just so adorable and like weird and quirky. And I'm just fascinated by the psychology of it. I think with anyone that believes a conspiracy theory that's like harmless, whatever. But if it was actively harmful or like just so wrong that they deserve to be corrected, I mean, I would approach them like I approach most people that I don't agree with, where I just explain how I feel about it. And I don't leave a lot of room for, I guess I would say I don't leave a lot of room for respect, but that sounds awful. But it's just sort of like, I think when people disagree a lot of times, there's this attitude of like, well, I respect that you think differently from me. But if they're a conspiracy theorist, for the most part, I'll just sort of go, I don't respect that you think the earth is flat. I don't care that you think that. You're wrong. I've explained why I think you're wrong. And if you don't agree with me, which depending on how far along they are, they probably don't agree with me. I'm not going to waste my time like convincing them. I'll just be like, I just cut it off. I'm just done. I think I'm that way in a lot of arguments. I think I'm a very forceful person by nature. I tend not to care that someone doesn't change their mind if I think their belief is crazy. Yeah, I think that's about all I have to say on that. Oh my God! I love this question. When is it time to let go of a fashion trend? When is a trend officially done? Ooh. It depends, because usually when older generations start wearing a trend, it kind of phases out. But I would say there are certain trends that I hate and I've always hated when they come along. I'm not even going to answer the question. I'm just going to talk about a thing that I hate and turn it into my thoughts on something, as I do with most conversations. I don't even know what they're called. I don't know what they're called. Abominations. Wearable abortions. I don't know. It's horrible. Those jackets that are like the teddy bear material, like the little fuzzies, it looks like sausage or like ground beef meat that's been browned in a pan. You know exactly what I'm talking about if you've seen it. Like, they're usually coats that look like teddy bear, like matted teddy bear fur, those little like pubic hair. First of all, visually it looks uncomfortable to touch. Like, I don't want to touch it because it feels like it'll give me that like teeth scratchy feeling.
Oh, I hate them.
I think they're ugly. I think they're bulky. They're gross. I just don't, they look like matted and old. It looks like they smell bad. I can't with those jackets. I would say in addition to that, I don't like puffy vests. I don't think you want to add lumps of weight to anyone's body. I don't know who that's supposed to be working for, but it just looks ugly. But that kind of phased out. After Old Navy stopped shilling them on everyone with their commercials, I was like, who is wearing this like Pokemon Safari Zone vest to just go out and about? It's just so ugly. I hate it. Cargo shorts are awful too. They're practical, so I forgive them, but they are ugly. I don't know when trends are done, but I know when I hate one. Here's a good one. Are there any societal virtues that you consider to be vices? Our culture has a big thing about being positive. I've noticed a lot of times there's this attitude that if you're negative or cynical, that it's a symptom of something, of some problem. And not that I'm like, oh, everyone should be more negative. The general consensus is, oh, you should try and be positive. When you run into someone who is negative or having a tough time or is just sort of accurately representing the situation they're in, maybe it's bad. Maybe they deserve to be upset or angry. I don't think it's good advice to just tell them to like look on the sunny side, look on the bright side. Enough times in my life I've run into someone that just sort of essentially tells me to look for the silver lining. And it's like, sometimes I don't want a silver lining. Sometimes you want someone to commiserate with, someone that understands why you're upset and maybe even agrees with you and just sort of sits with you in that feeling. Not forever, not for the rest of your life, but for a time. There's nothing wrong with that, but societally we're kind of drilled in with this idea that if you're being too negative, you're toxic. There's all these buzzwords, which I don't even want to get into that because I could do a whole video on.
If they're toxic and negative, you need to cut them out, suck out the poison, get them out of your life, rid yourself of that. It's like a cancer.
It's complicated. I won't get into it here. But I would say my answer is overemphasis on the idea of being positive versus the idea of being a bit cynical, or what I would argue, more realistic. Here's a good one. If you died today, who would you haunt? I don't know, I guess, why is there a limit? Like, why am I only haunting one person? You know what I would do? I would haunt, like, a completely random person. Like, I would constantly be full-on appearing, like, a full apparition of my body, just constantly showing up in, like, their house or their apartment, knocking stuff over. I would basically be the world's worst roommate because you can't kick me out, and I would follow that person until they died. And like once they died, they'd be like, who are you? And I'd be like,
I'm a stranger.
and then they would ask me why I did it, and I'd be like,
I thought it'd be funny. Because you don't know me, get it? It's so random. I'm so random.
that's another video I want to make. You are not quirky just because you say random words sometimes or get hyper when you drink caffeine. It's embarrassing. I've got to take a little break. I've got to take a breather. I've got to look at more questions. I'll be back. You know, as someone who's very into sobriety, today's been really tough. I'm not going to get into that now. No, Kevin, it's fine. I've already got the drink. Yeah, I don't know where I got another one. Well, you're not taking this one. Because the last time you took one, I didn't have it, and I need it. I'm trying to hold this whole show together, and you're embarrassing me. And I'm not going to have that today. I'm a woman in the 90s. I can do whatever I want. Anyways, everyone, we're back, and I'm definitely keeping it together. I'm fine. You don't even worry about me. As a beautiful... Yeah, I'm going back to the script. I don't need you to tell me. As a beautiful actress of stage and screen, I find a lot of the times that I have to hone my chops, really make my craft the best that it can be. And I'm so good at I'm just the best actress? Aluminum. I'm so good at acting. I've been seeing a vocal coach lately, and I've been learning to do like a British. I need to get a British accent down. I'm in a play called Ye Old London Town. It's very important that you get down the British way of speaking, and I think I've got it. I'm gonna do a little sample as a little treat in this whole spectacular. You ready? Hello there. I'm very British, I am. Very British. Big Ben. Oh, a double-decker bus. That's the talent. That's the talent that makes them all come for me. That got me all my 40 subscribers, which I'll have you know, 20 of those are inactive accounts. I can stop anytime you want me to. Wait, that's not right. I'm confused. Anyways, we're gonna have an intermission now. Take the time, go get some snacks, go get some drinks. No, I'm not gonna miss another meeting. Jerry. Idiot. Stupid. My mic's off for intermission, right?
Yeah, your mic's off.
Okay, good. I have some bones to pick. So I'm looking through the script here, and I see that my nude scene was cut. Does someone want to explain this shit to me, Kevin?
No one wants to see that.
This is the thing. It's integral to the plot of my character and my arc.
Please explain how.
You think because I've had some drinks, I can't explain how. It's not important, is what's important. It's that it matters so much is why it doesn't. Don't try to do your little mind games on me. This is why we broke up. This is about your brother. Okay, so I had sex with him. That was over 3...
When did you have sex with my brother?
Over 3 hours ago. Get over it. It's like no matter how many times I don't apologize, it doesn't even matter to you. I say I'm not sorry. I say I wish you were dead. I say I want to find a better producer. And then you got Jerry over here making his little comments. Yeah, I see you over there, Jerry. God, I hate him.
I love Jerry. Jerry's my best friend.
Jerry told me the other day, you know what he said to me? He said something very disparaging, and I don't want to repeat it, and it's not because I'm too drunk to remember it. Because I've been sober for over 7 million days. So when I got to my dressing room, I couldn't help but notice I had demanded that there be sparkling water. Now when I got
you never told anyone that.
When I told you that I was multilingual and you asked so you can speak other languages, and I said, I thought that meant you clearly understood that I was lying to you. And I thought you knew me better than that. Do you know how much French I know at this given moment? I've forgotten more French than you'll ever remember. Do I have a drinking problem?
Yes.
Well, intermission's almost over. I've got to get back to my place. I've got to recenter myself. What do you mean my mic is on? Oh my God. Everyone, welcome back. This is my special. You know, I remember I said to people, I said, I'm going to make a YouTube. You just wait, you just see. And they said, we don't believe in you. And I said, what do you think they said to Hitler? I don't think this is a good example. What do you think they said to Anne Frank? We're gonna go back to me. I'm gonna answer some more questions. God, I'm beautiful! And we're back. Let's answer more questions. Let's get to know me more. That's all that matters. Here's a good one. When in an emergency, what do you tend to do? Panic or calmly assess and make decisions? Why? Well, as someone that's had a gun pointed at them twice, which isn't me being like,
Oh, isn't that so dark? I bet you didn't know that I had a gun.
it just is a thing. I didn't panic either time, and I feel like if I'm not going to panic there's not a lot of situations that I'll panic. It's complicated because I think a lot of that comes from, I have my own baggage around like looking foolish or looking panicky or not in control. I'm in general a pretty controlling person, a pretty bossy person. I handle emergencies by going, I'm going to have absolute control, even if I don't have control. So if the least that I can do to control a situation is to control my reaction, that's what I'll do. I think that's why I love dealing with difficult customers so much, because the idea is they're freaking out and I'm not. I feel absolutely in control, no matter what they're saying, what their problem is. And I think most emergency situations, that's how I am. I'm sure there'd be exceptions that I'm not thinking of, but I haven't encountered them. I tend to be a smooth operator, to phrase it as old and ancient as possible. Have you ever dreamed about launching a small business? If so, what was it? No, I'm realistic about myself and my motivation to know enough that, like, even if I had, let's say, a really good idea for a business, it would last about 2 weeks before I got bored of it. I mean, I guess you could say I've been doing YouTube for a year now, and I'm not bored of that. But even that, I do sporadically. I do when I feel like it. I'm not on a schedule. I hate leaving the house, so the idea of having to go to a business, unless the business is built into my house or I live above it, I wouldn't even go. It's hard enough to get me to go to work now. Like, even if I owned it or was responsible for it, I don't think that would change anything. I would say a business that I would have fun fantasizing about owning would be like an amusement park, just because I think it'd be fun to decide rides and plan shows and events. But I mean, I'm thinking of it in like roller coaster tycoon drag and drop terms, so I'm sure it would be a lot more arduous and irritating. So maybe not even that, but I guess if I had to pick like a fantasy business, it would be having my own amusement park. If you could be friends with a fictional character from books or movies in real life, who would they be and why? I don't know. I like a lot of characters. I don't know if I would be friends with any of them. I like Lyra from the His Dark Materials series, doing a little bit of a deep cut there, although they just made a show that they casted awfully. Lin-Manuel Miranda should stop being in all things. I think he's a terrible actor. There's my hot take. He's a bad actor. If you don't know who I'm talking about, he's the Hamilton guy. Like, I mean, I'm sure he is incredibly talented. Just, I don't think he's a talented actor. I think he gives very weird one-note performances. I don't believe him in any role. This is not the question. What am I doing? Okay, I'm about to give you the most gay answer you've ever heard in your life. Anne with an E. Anne of Green Gables. She's so fun and bubbly and kooky and so imaginative. I would just love having a daughter like that. Or even just hanging out with her and talking to her. She's just... Every time she talks, I smile. And I have very little of that in my life because I'm such a rotted, awful nightmare monster that I think I could use some warmth. When was the last time you censored yourself in public and why? I think... I censor myself all the time, I guess, when I'm at work. I watch my language. I make sure I'm careful about what I say and who I say it to. Within reason, I would say I am still very mouthy. I guess I'm not censoring myself in public as much as I'm just choosing to phrase things differently. It is very rare that I would want to say something and then I don't say it. Which isn't to say I don't have a filter. I will filter it through, and if I still really want to say it, I'll say it. If you could change one thing about the way movies are produced, what would it be? The thing with this, I'm going to give an answer that, like, every edgy person, every hot take, I'm done with superhero movies. Like, I'm done. I'm over it. I want new ideas. Everyone says that. Everyone says, like, oh, stop pulling from these old IPs and these old series. I'm fine with that, I guess. It's just, like, aren't we done? Like, I'm not even that person that's like...
Superheroes are stupid, or, like, I'm over it.
No, it's weird, right? Like, that's the only thing that we're getting, really, that makes any real money, that has any cultural impact. Like, there's just so much merchandising and the movies themselves and the spin-offs and the shows and I'm just over it. I'm done. To be fair, I don't like going to movies. I don't like going to movie theaters. There's a fun fact for you. I hate it. I hate going to movie theaters. I have a whole reason. Maybe I'll talk about that in a video, but I don't like going to movies, like going out to the movies. It has to be a horror movie if you're going to get me to go, and even then I have to be really interested. So I guess if movies could not be in theaters for as long, that would be another thing I'd like to see changed, just because I don't like going to the theater. If everything could just be at my house, that'd be great. Speaking of movies, does your favorite movie have anything in common with the worst movie you ever saw? My favorite movie is the original Nightmare on Elm Street. I guess no. Like, that's boring, but I don't think so. First of all, I almost only watch horror movies, so it's kind of a hard. And all other movies, I tend not to hate movies of other genres. I just sort of am unimpressed or uninterested, so I don't even retain them in my memory. What country would you not want to visit, and why? I guess I would have to say Russia, because I just have no interest in going there. Like, the culture isn't interesting to me, which, I mean, it's not for me. Like, they didn't make a culture to see if they could entertain me or make me interested in it, so who cares what I think? I prefer very short distance trips, like from my living room to my kitchen kind of trips. What is the best advice you ever gave anyone? I don't know, I give advice a lot. Unsolicited sometimes. I do try to have it be solicited. I don't like people that give advice when no one asked, and I try not to do that. I think I do a lot for people as far as standing up for themselves, having a backbone. I really respect people that learn to respect themselves. So I think a lot of my friendships have kind of been based in I meet someone that I don't consider them weak-willed or spineless necessarily. I definitely want them to know, like, hey, if someone says something and you don't like it, you can say something. Like, you can always say something. You know, try for once when someone does that thing that annoys you, when your family member says a remark out of turn, come for them a little. I mean, obviously don't run at them with knives, but, like, say something. I think it comes from not feeling witty or maybe not feeling powerful, maybe physically or mentally. Screw that. I'm literally a scarecrow. Like, I am a stick person, and I will mouth off to someone twice my size. Not that I'm confrontational or anything. Whew. That one got me all heated. Well, I'm gonna go cool off. Wow, that was really interesting, Jacob. That was so interesting. I feel like we really are getting to know you. If I were someone that wasn't subscribed, I would subscribe. I mean, if I were them, if I were me. What? I actually want everyone to, I'm gonna do my product here. I have a plug, I have a Kickstarter. It's no big deal. Like, I'm an innovator. It's what I do. Woo! I almost fell over and I'm sitting down. I'm fine. I'm fine, Kevin! I'm an innovator. I'm an experimenter. Experimentrix. I have a Kickstarter to turn all, the Kickstarter is to turn all orphanages into vintage dog salon boutiques / laser tag arenas. And I think it's hard because it's like when Bill Jobs made the first computer in that one-room schoolhouse, it's like they said whatever. They were like,
I didn't believe that you could make that.
and he was like, guess what? Email. I want more, and not less. And I'm fine. On to our last set of questions here. So I've tried to save the meatier questions for this segment. All right, this seems like a good first one. Does anger management ever really work? I could say that I have problems with anger, but I really don't. I'm fairly calm. It's pretty hard to fight with me unless you really push all of my buttons. And I mean, you have to lay on every button. Normally, I try to be very logical. I put myself in other people's shoes. I play devil's advocate. I argue with myself in my own head. Managing anger is kind of a weird way of putting it because I think we have to manage all of our emotions. Okay, short answer, yes. Longer answer, like anything, the person has to be receptive to it. I think if you give someone tools, psychological tools on how to manage their anger, you know, chances are that's going to help somewhat at least. Or at least it helps them realize what they're doing. But I could see why it wouldn't work on someone who was just not going to be receptive or didn't believe in the concept that we can control how we react even when we're feeling emotional. If you just stop for that one beat and think about it, and I do think anger management can give you the tools to be able to stop and say, wait, how do I really feel about this? Is it worth it? And I just think that's neat. What is the best gift you ever received? This is hard because I'm terrible to get gifts for. I'm not even necessarily hard to shop for. I show gratitude. Let me get that out of the way. I show gratitude. It's not like I don't care. It doesn't mean nothing to me. But similar to how I don't cry very often, I don't get overexcited very often. I mean, there's been times where someone's presented me with tickets to my favorite band to go see them live in concert, and I'm appreciative, and I say, oh, thank you, I really appreciate that, that's really nice of you, and that's that for me. I'm not a big,
oh my god,
I'm just not that person. I can't make myself be that person. Sometimes I've tried, it just doesn't work. I guess the best gifts I've ever gotten have all been emotional. I feel like when someone, hears me or understands me or gets to know me or is curious about me, that to me is a bigger gift than I bought you this thing. Here is this stuff. Oh God, that's so cheesy, but it's absolutely true when it comes to me. I just don't care about physical things as much as I care about company. But I'm a lonely person by nature, so let's not get into that. When was the last time you changed your mind about something in a 180-degree direction? I do it a lot with people. So I have this thing about judgment. People say
oh, I'm not judgmental.
Judgment is good. It is a survival tool. I could give a whole TED talk on this, but the idea that judging people is bad is flawed thinking, and I'm going to explain to you why, because you're thinking, oh, you're trying to justify being judgmental. No, I'm not. I'm not saying you can't judge someone incorrectly. I'm not saying you should jump to snap judgments. What I'm saying is, just the standard fact, judgment is a survival tool. If you judge someone, you go, hey, I think that behavior is tacky or gross or nasty. That's your brain telling you, stay away from that person, you don't care for them. It's a tool we use every day to navigate who we want to get to know and who we don't want to get to know. It's not superficial. This is your human shell. This is your body that you're piloting around. And I'm looking at it and it looks disgusting. Could I be wrong? Could you be the most lovely, caring person in the world? Absolutely. But this is just that first step. It's the first hurdle. It's like a bouncer at a door to a club. It's just to stop the riffraff from getting in, and sometimes they're wrong. Most often when I change a 180 degree, it's because I've judged someone and gotten to know them a little more, usually because I'm forced to, through work or when I was in school. And I change my mind. I go, as much as they are these things that I didn't like, there's these things that I do like. And, I think people would tell me, oh, can't you take from that your thinking is wrong and that judgment doesn't help, because if sometimes you're wrong or sometimes people have more to show you that you're not seeing because you cut them off, wouldn't you want to change? No. And that's on period. How would you characterize the phrase, the American dream? Okay, well, that's a heavy one. I'm not very patriotic. I don't feel this unilateral connection to my country. I think it comes from growing up the way I did. Normally people kind of have a close family unit that instills in them that feeling of your clan, you're part of your clan. I felt like I was on my own. So I never grew into that stage of then finding a religion where you feel like you're part of a group. Then finding that in your country, you are proud of your country's heritage and history. I guess I just don't think about that kind of stuff. I mean, I have the luxury to not think about it. When you grow up poor and kind of ignored and cast aside, you just don't have the energy to care about politics, and no one guiding you to it either. So I guess I just don't have this internal strong feeling when I hear the phrase, the American dream. I understand from a sitcom point of view what the American dream means. I understand from a generic, this is what people mean when they write the American dream, but I guess to me it means success. Success in whatever field you choose to. That nothing is dictated to you. Your passions are your limit. It's a concept. It's not necessarily a thing that is happening very often. I think it's like winning the lottery. What is something you worry about that you think most people never worry about? Why? I constantly worry what people are thinking of me, how they feel about me. And I'm sure people would say, oh, a lot of people worry that, but I think I focus on it a lot more. Part of me doesn't like doing anything that I perceive a certain way. I don't want to be seen as too self-indulgent, so I didn't want to do the dance numbers in this video because I felt like they were a little self-indulgent, self-congratulatory. I just stopped myself from doing things I want to do just because of how other people might perceive them. I constantly worry about my life, where it's going and where I'll be. I worry a lot about my health, that I'm going to suddenly get sick. I mean, everyone has these little neuroses. I have anxiety about anxiety. I, in general, am not an anxious person. So when I do feel anxious about something, I tend to hyper-focus on it to the point where it doesn't matter if it's going to happen, did happen, or will happen. In my mind, in my body, it feels like it's happening right now. because I get so anxious and I focus on it so much. So like I might say or do something that I think upsets someone, and if they don't respond to me for a few hours, I'll start to become paranoid. I don't do anything. I don't bug them. I don't message them 80 times. I used to. And worry like, what did I do? What did I say? Oh God, what am I gonna... I need a plan of attack when I do get in contact with them. How am I gonna smooth things over? A blessing and a curse that I like to plot and scheme things out. Yeah, I plan them out, but when things don't go according to plan, I immediately start spiraling into, well, why didn't they go according to plan, and how do I get what I want? I am a very self-assured person. I get what I want when I want it, is like the attitude I try to go into things with. I don't want a lot of stuff. I wouldn't say I'm necessarily overall a selfish person, like in every arena. But when I want something, I gun for it. So when anxiety like rears its ugly head, it like really latches onto me, where I'm really like, I guess I'm kind of paralyzed by it. And I think I worry a lot more about that than the average person does. What's the best way to deal with stress? I deal with stress by dealing with the stressor. That's not helpful because that's like saying like, well, don't be stressed and that'll help with stress. But usually I will, if I can't deal with the stressor, like let's say someone's mad at me for something I did at work and I can't fix it by apologizing or talking it out, in my own head, I will think and rethink the situation, put myself in their shoes. Like I do a lot of mental exercising of like, how would I feel if I was them and X, Y, and Z? And I think in doing that, it helps me de-stress. The process of thinking about it so hard kind of helps me realize like this will pass. You know, there's a million ways I could handle this. There's a million ways I could handle any situation. Focusing on solution-oriented thinking, growth-oriented thinking. Beyond all that, a more, not joke answer, but a more simplistic answer, watch YouTube. I'll put on a lot of video essays that I really enjoy and just watch them and kind of turn my brain off. Why do people like country music? Here we go. So I don't like country. I'm not one of those people that's like, it's stupid music. Like, you'll find a lot of metalheads that are like,
Pop music, so stupid and auto-tune.
and they have these really generic, pedestrian, trite opinions. And it's like, all music is music. Like, it's not for me. Like, I don't like rap music either, but I guess I just don't relate to it. Not that I necessarily have to relate to it, but I really don't relate to it at all. And so it just doesn't sound good to my ear. You know, I hear it and I'm like, I'm big on lyrics, I think, is probably the main reason, where it's like the music can sound good to me, but the lyrics are just kind of like, I don't know what to picture. I'm not really picturing anything. And country's kind of the same way. Women, family life, good old boys, and going mudding. Like, I just, like, no thank you. Not only do the things that make common appearances not appeal to me, I just don't like a twangy sound. I like folk music, which I think is close. It's kind of an offshoot, but I hate that. It's like when you pull a string and you twang it, like it's, well, I just described playing a guitar. I like things that give me an emotional feeling, and country music doesn't give me any emotion. It's the sitcom of music to me, like where at least rap is usually like very emotive. It kind of is fueled by a very strong feeling, like be it lust or power or whatever. Country music is just sort of like, I guess, a manifesto on like, these are things I like. These are things that are good, and I don't like these things. And if you mess with this thing, I'm going to do this thing. It's like when people say pop music is all about partying. It's like, yeah, some of it. And I'm not a big partier, so I don't really like that kind of pop music, but not all of it is. So, I mean, not all country is about the same stuff, but it's just hard to find those outliers. Like pop music, you can easily find a song that's like, Katy Perry's Firework is about believing in yourself. That's not really about partying. So like, done. That took me 2 seconds. Country music is very much... There is always a kind of a feel to it, and the lyrics are very, you know, what you see is what you get, or what you hear, rather, is what you get. I think this is a good one. How much time do you devote to thinking about the past versus thinking about the future? What is the ratio? I live very much in the now, but I probably think of... I almost split it by time. Usually late at night when I'm about to go to bed, so like close to bedtime, I'll start thinking about the past. And then during the day proper, like after I've woken up and eaten and all that, I'll think about the future. So like I'll lay in bed and I'll remember things I said or did that make me shudder or make me embarrassed. I think everyone has those moments. And then during the day, I'll think like, where am I going? How am I going to get there? And I'll get like eager to have the future established. I would say I'm a very present thinker, I guess, overall. because part of my anxieties stem from not knowing how I'm going to get to the future that I want. That's like, I guess I'm just kind of self-admitting that like I can be kind of lazy. And so when I think in my head, I'm a lazy person, how am I going to get to this place with this person, with this thing? I kind of draw a blank sometimes. And especially if it's not something I really want. Because as I said, I'm ravenous when I want something. I will tear someone in half. But if I don't really want it that much, or I have no experience in how to get it, or I can't use my like charm or wit or words, I stall out. If it involves going to a lot of places, filling out paperwork, I just sort of get stuck and get stumped and just sort of give up. And so when I think about the future, I get anxious because I'm like, well, how am I going to get there? You know, maybe I have X, Y, and Z, but I don't have A, B, and C. So I'm never going to get there. And, you know, that spiral starts anew. So I think when I think of the past, I don't let it bug me too much. That type of stuff, I try not to have regrets. Regrets I do have, I usually just sort of shrug my shoulders. I try not to think too much of the future because I get anxious. So I'll think of, what am I doing today? What am I doing right now? How can I get closer to the future by taking steps in the now, in the today? Which I guess is like a hybrid version of thinking. I'm not kind of just like wishful thinking about the future or planning or plotting. It's more of like a, what do I do today that might get me a little bit closer to the future that I'm wanting? But then again, I grew up so oaky, smoky poor that like I'm really happy with my life right now. I could never move, never do anything, never change anything and be a very happy person. Which some people think is sad or pathetic. Well, okay. You can only go up from having such a terrible upbringing like I did, or what I would qualify as a pretty terrible upbringing, or a pretty lonely one at least. I can only go up. Right now, having nice things in a nice home with good friends, I'm good, I'm set. The last question was, what will your legacy be? I don't know, I guess. There's nothing I really want to do for society. That sounds horrible. But I'm so focused on trying to just scrape together a decent life and my own anxieties, and I guess that's not true. I hope that the people whom I've interacted with, who have been in their life, I hope they think of me fondly. And I hope that I helped them in some way. When I'm gone, anyone that's surviving that remembers me or knows me or sees something that I made or did, I hope it helps them or makes them smile or makes them laugh. I hope it's not nothing to them. And I hope I don't hurt more people than I help. So I guess I want my legacy to be one of a well-liked person. And in that way, I'll live on and watch my videos. Speaking of my videos, really, again, it means a lot to anyone that watches them for any reason. Like, it's weird to me. I make these things and I forget that they're even out there, that people can watch them, because they're just these little hobbies. I would love to focus on it more, but who has the time? I hate to be that person, but I really would love if people could share, subscribe, comment. It does help me. It does motivate me. As someone that's still relatively new to this, and I'm unmotivated by nature, I really want to see that interaction and to feel that interaction. And, I would love more people to see my stuff. Do I think it's the best in the world? No, whatever. But I think it's good, and I like people looking at my creative endeavors, even if they find them embarrassing or cringy or pathetic or juvenile. I don't really care about that. Why wouldn't I want people to see my creative work? And I think a lot of people waste time having shame for wanting people to see the things that they've made, because it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing to be that self-indulgent and that self-satisfied to say, I think this is good enough to show other people, please show other people, but I'm saying it. And I do refrain, and I probably won't in future videos, but I am now saying it, like, please, share, like, give me good feedback. Give me any feedback. If you hated it, that's fine. I'll still take the interaction, honestly. Really, thank you. Thank you for a wonderful year of this passion project I never thought I would do more than one terrible video of. I've come so far just in editing alone. And here's to 2021 and whatever videos that may bring. Hi, I've just been informed by our production assistant that I'm not going to be working with this studio anymore. So I just wanted to say that I'm deeply sorry if I've offended anyone this evening. Yeah, I'm sorry, Kevin. I'm so sorry. You wouldn't even, it's like I tried to even be sorry about it, and I'm not even, you're not gonna have any usable footage, because I'm gonna be this way the whole time, and you're not gonna hire someone. Not during quorum time. Quarantine. Quetzalcoatl? Whatever. You know what I'm talking about. Shut up. Anyways, I'm gonna do another thing now to a song. It's a great performance. The show must go onwards to, you gotta watch a show. Shut up, I don't even care. Performing Tessa Violet's I Like the Idea of You, here's Jacob Uvello. Okay, that's enough. Well, we sure did. That was woo, yay! I was watching right along with you guys. Anyways, I hope you had fun. I hope you got to know me. I certainly got to know who the people that I work with, and I found out some not so nice things. But I'm not even gonna say. I'm a professional. A professional. You can't do this to me. I'm gonna be embarrassed if you air this. Because I just get this off my face. I'm not gonna have a breakdown. I hope you had a good night. And if there's one thing I learned, it's that I am the most interesting, famous, beautiful person alive. And I'm worth it. I'm worth it. I'm not gonna be pushed around. Are we airing this? Piss off. I don't know. I don't care. What do you mean there's no alcohol in this?